Alfred. Yes, he made mention of the electoral system. And if you look at yesterday, the guests we had here, most of what they said is that the problem we have in Nigeria is that we're not getting it right from the elections. And the problem we have with our elections, if I go by what the explanation Dr. Amadi gave, is that the political parties are not also getting it right. So how do we get a good foundation so that we can correct some ills in our nation?
This is what I think. For now, we have to make do with what we have. Just like you rightly said, our electoral system is so imperfect that it has produced almost something close to a shame. But that is what we have now. Now, I don't want to get academic. I want to just get very practical. Now, they say if you meet a man who is stronger than you and you can't overpower him, pet him to get what you want. When you get strong, you can now dominate him. For now, whether you like it or yes, President Muhammadu Buhari is president, and the governors of the 36 states are governors. So what we can do, as I think, is for us to up our advocacy, to see how we can influence them to behave in a positive way. Now, let me tell you this. That is why I said ab initio that leadership in Nigeria needs to get innovative and creative. Because Nigeria, for all the ways we have practiced, is a cut and paste system that is not working. Let me give you a practical example. There was crisis in South Africa. Nelson Mandela came. To cut the long story short, in order to victimize people, he pushed forward forgiveness, which led to the Truth and Reconciliation Committee and other things. Not too far from that, there was crisis in Rwanda in 1994. Paul Kagame came. Paul Kagame came and was like, the summary of whatever I thought was like, if we now begin to prosecute members of this country for the genocide that was committed in about 100 days, that led to about the death of more than 1 million people, which family will be an exception? It will be another round of genocide.
So do you think that's why you're saying if we can have a change of the way we fight corruption?
Let me finish.
You will finish.
I will go there.
It's still the same thing.
You don't cut me. I'm going somewhere and it's very important for this country. You understand? Now, when Paul Kagame came, he said if you prosecute, almost all the families in Rwanda will be there. So what do? Please forgive. Let us build a country of unity. And today, in just less than 15 years, go to Kigali. I was in Kigali some weeks ago. Kigali is almost a success story.
Yes.
Now, what am I trying to say?
We just hope it can be sustained.
Yes.
So we hope it will be sustained. Because all these African success
I agree.
I
agree. For now, it's a success. Like you said, we hope it can be sustained. But for now, it's a success. Now, in Nigeria, we have not even got a success, let alone hoping for it to be sustained. So what I'm trying to say now is that, can we have a president? Can we talk to a President Muhammadu Buhari from this medium and others to be innovative? Can he, as a father, a grandfather, build a country that looks less on party politics, but based on competence and how much you can bring on the table? Can we nudge him enough to say, how can we creatively, out of the box, move this nation forward? That brings me to that question you were asking.
Yes.
Billions of dollars, more than 100 billions of dollars have been stolen away from this country, and we are fighting corruption. I can bet you that even the agencies such as EFCC fighting corruption is not free from corruption. If not, you ask a question, why is it that when most people get to EFCC as staff, they become rich in this country? That's a question. No, hold on.
Salary.
I agree, na salary. Let's say that on national TV. Now, the question now is, can President Muhammadu Buhari come on down and say, and no matter how EFCC, ICPC, DSS, bring all the SSCCs and whatever SSC is, no matter how they fight corruption, and no matter what they do, I can bet you that they cannot recover up to 30% of what has been stolen away from this country. Because number one, some of those who have stolen the wealth of this country away are too powerful for them to even dare. That's number one. So can we not come together and say,
forgive and
what
forget.
is
Let's start
happening?
again.
If you have stolen from this country, I'm not saying this is it.
If you have stopped stealing.
No,
Stop
I'm coming.
stealing.
No,
If
no,
you have
hold
stopped
on,
stealing,
hold
that is
on,
the
hold
right
on.
to
Let me
react
finish.
to that.
If
Go
you have
ahead.
stolen from this country,
Yes.
from so year to so time, so billions of dollars, I beg, I am President Muhammad Buhari, National Assembly come, everybody come, we grant you amnesty. Whatever money you have, please bring it. There is land for you along East-West Road.
But let me ask you.
Ijoba,
Fred,
you won't even let me finish
Fred,
to make
no,
the point.
yes, I know.
Wait, let me finish.
But
Let me
wait.
just land on this one.
It
Bring
will
the
also
money
help you.
and invest.
Fred, this will also help you.
Okay.
We've heard government say we've been able to recover so amount of funds. Have you asked government the question? All this recovery, what have they been using it
To
for?
ask first, what was the cost of the recovery minus the recovery?
Exactly.
And you discover that the amount is paltry. And all of that is sometimes media jamboree. But coming back to what I was saying, let us open the space and say, come. Okay, you stole $1 billion, no problem. National Assembly, take it, invest it in so sector of the economy that will employ job. If don't worry, government will not own the company, because what we need in this country that is festering insecurity is part of it is unemployment. You understand? Because if you even bring back your wealth and own it, and you are able to create 1 million jobs, you would have solved the situation in this. But you see, I'm not saying this should go the way I have said it. But I think that if professionals, you bring people like Sam Amadi and others who can understudy this kind of thing that has happened somewhere in Turkey and other places, they will be able to come up with a formula to reap this and also stop the corruption. But the summary of what I'm trying to say is that until we stop being a little bit academic and get more innovative, because let me tell you something, the prosperous countries in the world, such as Dubai, yes, Al Maktoum. Yes, Al Maktoum went to Harvard and studied.
It's so Dubai.
No. Small city state, but we have not been able to prosper even in small cities.
What I'm trying to say is too easy to govern.
No. Exactly. You don't compare that kind of government to what we have in Nigeria.
No. You are saying you don't compare that kind of government. The economy of that place is influencing the whole world up to this place.
All right.
So with the resources we have and with the human capacity we have here, we should be able to come together and say, okay, let's get innovative. That brings to the table the issue of a restructured Nigeria, where we can now say, even our constitution, this constitution that preambles and say, we the people of Nigeria, and Korokoro, we all know that we never wrote that constitution.
All right, Alfred,
we need to now begin
I need to also go over to Makodi. And I'd also like to thank you, Alfred, for being a part of this program. Let me just take one or two messages. I have so much messages tonight. Wow, it's let me just take one or two so we can go. Job Ayambi says, well, Ijoma, you should expect what is happening now to occur. You know that he's going local this time. Igalas have dominated political landscape of Kogi. Well, that is the Kogi politics. And I am happy to see fearless Alfred. Nothing can change in this Lord Lugard's orchard unless we do away with born to rule mentality. This is coming from Ikparoi Ogboga. And he said Nigeria is not yet a nation. Point of correction, we have never agreed to live together as a single entity. We must go back to our drawing board. Well, Emmanuel Akpan, leadership has been given a bad rap lately, but the fault lies with our current crop of dysfunctional and corrupt leaders, and the fault also lies with the many good people who are afraid to take initiative and step forward as leaders. That's the much we can take for time. Tomorrow is another day, 7:30 p.m. You can tweet at me at EJ or Samuel. I'll try and take one or two messages, take more if possible, on the issue of leadership. Until then, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. Good night.